Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What are you doing?
3, 2, 1, boom.
You say boom.
You say 3, 2, 1.
I did.
I never heard you say 3, 2, 1.
It's because you're dicking around on your phone wanting to get in YouTube.
No, guys wanting to message me about a hunt. Anyways, 3, 2, 1, boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Looking Glass Duck Club. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
Fuck up a wet dream.
And probably the most world-famous outfitter out there, the boy that hangs out with all the country music stars, Chance Bass's sidekick at one time, Mr. Toby Brohlin. Toby, how are you doing?
Oh, good, man. Y'all can't talk me up that much. That's a lot of pressure.
Toby, yeah. So,
were you on stage this weekend with Cody Jinks?
We were. We've been trying to link up for the last year, and finally was able to make it happen. And I can't say enough great things about that dude. They literally the most humble man that that caliber that I've ever had the privilege of being around. Just great guy.
Now, how do you know him? Just from your life in the music industry, or what?
No, it's one of those deals, man. The whole music industry, it's so small. Just like the hunting industry, everybody knows everybody. He likes to hunt, and honestly, I can't remember 100% how that whole connection kind of made way, but his tour manager and I have been kind of communicating, and they tried to come out and hunt last year, but it was just too late in the season. We didn't have any dates available, and so we're gonna make it happen this year, though.
That's very cool. What was that like?
Go ahead.
Getting up on stage, playing with Cody.
Oh, no, I didn't play. We just
backstage
went early and I got to go check out the sound check and hang out with him, and it was a really cool experience, man. It was a hometown deal, and so we had all of his family, his mom there. It was just it was incredible, man. It's the first concert I can say I've ever been to where I got choked up. He got his mom up there and sang with him on that Mama song, and it just it hit a little different. You know what I mean?
So
it was a cool show.
Do you have contacts with Kenny Chesney? Because I'm going to see him Saturday, and it would have been nice to holler at you before I bought these tickets, these $high tickets.
Oh.
Most expensive tickets I've ever paid for.
No shit. I believe it. I believe it. It'd be a lot cooler if I did, though. Go ahead, coconut rum with it.
Kenny he's filled the Jimmy Buffett role.
Oh,
he's
big
just
time.
Kind of falling in, no shoes on stage, and like you said, coconut rum and a lot of fruity drinks. So he's fallen into that role quite nicely, seamlessly.
He's an improvement over Jimmy Buffett. I love Jimmy Buffett, but Jimmy Buffett is not a very good singer. Jimmy Buffett sings about as good as Willie Nelson does. And Kenny Chesney, I like his music, but I don't think he's a good singer.
Jimmy?
A vocalist. No, not at all.
Sure.
Kenny Chesney's a damn good singer.
He is.
Yeah.
But Kenny Chesney does
now,
feel
Lucas Nelson was at this Jinx show this weekend, and that was a surprise too, man. I don't know if you've kind of listened to any of his stuff, but it's like Willie Nelson with new age sound. It's worth checking out.
I haven't seen it. What was his name again?
Lucas Nelson.
Lucas Nelson.
Lucas Nelson. It's Willie's son. Yeah, sounds just like him, but a little more.
We might have lost Toby.
Froze up. It's that panhandle internet.
It is. Got to get the Starlink. There he is, I think, maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's something that's interesting to me because Willie, I wonder if Willie kind of pushed him to this, or if this is something that he saw his dad do. Because most of the time when you see guys that did it, especially at Willie's level, the last thing they want for their children is following their footsteps.
Sure, I can see that. And I think, it was something that kind of got brought up at the concert. It's just having somebody of that caliber that's Lucas, now he's getting awards and stuff like that. And it's like, to be Willie's son is one thing. And you got that stigma. Oh, you got where you are because you're Willie's son. And man, I got to say it, in my opinion, not at all. The dude's incredible, a hell of a guitar player, hell of a songwriter and singer. And once again, just humble, just out there, the man that doesn't have to work for anything, never would, but up there in holy shoes, you know what I mean? Just one of us, man. It's
Those
awesome.
are the people that you kind of hate because you're like, he deserves it, and you're like, God damn it, I wish there was something about this kid that I don't like. But you're like, he's humble, he's a good singer. It's like when they're the total package, you're like, motherfucker, he's got it all.
That's right. Yeah.
But
So where are you going to see Kenny at?
Going to Arlington. This is the third round of his concert that he canceled COVID, and he did another cancellation. And
did you have original tickets?
No.
Not the COVID year?
No. That's Kenny Chesney's about my only bucket list entertainer other than Elton John that I haven't seen. That I really like to see. I've never seen I've never seen Kenny, and I've always wanted to see him, and I've never seen Elton John. But that's about it. I'm not much of a concert goer, anyways. I'm too old for that shit nowadays.
Sure.
I used to want to go to the big band, the Van Halen days when the chicks are pulling their tops off and shit. Now you go to Jimmy Buffett concert, you want people to keep their clothes on. You don't want them taking them off.
Oh shit!
Me and Michelle went and seen Jimmy Buffett about it's probably 10 years ago at Frisco Park, and I'm not lying when I tell you this. We were the youngest fucking people, and we had really good seats. We were right up by the stage. We were the only young people in the whole area, and we were 40-something years old at the time. I mean, everybody was 65 or 70 around us. I'm thinking, Grandma's going to throw a hip over there trying to do fins. So,
oh man.
So how was this last season for you?
Man, all in all, it was great. Me and bird numbers were cranes were tough. Once our geese got here, we made do. It definitely was not the previous season, but
right.
We got it done, killed our birds, but it was one of them deals where you're hunting the same group of birds for the entire season. But talking to everybody else, it seems like that was kind of the season we all had. So it's really no different.
Somebody north of us had to have a stellar season. I'm talking way north. Somebody
like where?
In Montana, Wyoming, Colorado,
right.
Somebody somewhere had to be sitting on 1.5 million birds and just flat wearing them out and never told nobody about it.
Right.
Yeah, good secret keeping. No, I've got some buddies in Colorado that stayed on them pretty steady. And then, Lubbock had a hell of a season this year too. We were dry. And it is what it is. It's something that we kind of struggle with all the time. So we had our local town birds like always, and they kind of had to get us through more than I would like. But that's kind of, I think we talked about that the last time we were on a podcast. It's a blessing for us to have these local town birds in the parks and stuff like that. Because when shit gets tough, it's a good plan B.
Right. Cranes were really, really weird for us this year.
Yeah, it's same here. And the previous year, man, we had cranes. Normally, our cranes push out by Thanksgiving. It's a 3-week, smash the shit out of them, and then, switch gears to ducks and geese. Last year, we couldn't. We had geese, or we had cranes after the geese left in the springtime. They just were always here. But this last year, man, it just – we had a handful of great hunts, and then, we'd have a couple of days where they just made you'd be hunting a feed, and they would not even look at it the next day. So it was just crane things.
We'd be on the hot field from the night before.
Yep.
Birds would get off of roost, and then they would like get a half a mile out, and then just start. There's always that oh shit moment when you're crane hunting, like when you can kind of tell that the flight path is going to be just a little bit different. And I mean, there's plenty of days where we're set up right where they were, right where we needed to be. Thought we had it wasn't the blinds because the birds just never even got to us. And then that that line would shift, and nothing you can do about it at that point because it ain't like geese. I mean, if geese are off a half a mile, you got a hope and a prayer. You can call them over, you can flag them over. Cranes, it's just single file.
Yeah. And that's I don't consider myself just a crane killer. We're successful with them, but yeah, I mean, that's the deal. I personally, I don't believe that there's such thing as running traffic on cranes. You know what I mean? It just, in my opinion, it doesn't work like that. But I'll say this, man, geese, even as the season progressed, when the birds are kind of getting a little more stale, we had a lot more luck end of season running traffic than we would even hunting the feeds. And it was weird. You'd go and set up on the feed, and it's kind of the same thing the cranes were doing. Just, I don't know if you want to call it decoy shy, or if they'd seen all the tricks throughout the whole season because you're hunting the same damn birds every day. But man, we started having more success just trying to get in front of them, and changing it up, man. Trying to hunt out of the decoys, kind of getting out of the comfort level, and we made it work. But it was definitely kind of the same deal with cranes later in the year. I mean,
we had a great November
and half of
December.
December.
And for half of December, and then after that, it was a shit show after that. But I was talking to a dentist at the airport Sunday, and he lives in Roswell, New Mexico, I believe.
He does.
And he was telling me about all the freaking there's a lot more ducks and geese and cranes now in New Mexico that have gotten pushed away from Lubbock and Amarillo that are getting into New Mexico. And I think these birds are really catching on to what's going on because they get hunted from September. I mean, you think about it. Time we get them down here, they've already been the shit hammered out of them in Canada and the Dakotas. A lot of our specs that we get here in mid-October, they're calendar birds. They don't get hunted that much.
Right, or at all.
Until they get here, and then we pound them, and then after about 4 weeks of that shit, they catch on pretty quick too. But I think a lot of the birds in Amarillo and Lubbock are starting to push into New Mexico now. I really do. I think we've put a lot of pressure on these birds, and you probably aren't putting a lot of pressure on the birds because I don't think we have the pressure on the birds here that we did 10 years ago, right? Because we don't run as many groups totally in my area. You run what, 1 or 2 groups a day up there?
Yeah, so this last year we ran 2 groups pretty well every day, and then weekends we were running 3 groups just because I hired a couple of new guys and we had the ability to do it. And we made it work, man. But that's kind of my big deal with getting the lodge going, is just being able to pull the reins, dial it back, and run 2 groups and not have to stress, not have to trying to find 2 good feeds is enough. Yeah.
It's hard to dial it back though when you think about the money you lose.
It is, and I mean, it's just I told myself the other day, just kind of thinking about it, and I'd rather have a waiting list and be able to kind of keep the momentum and keep the reputation that I'm proud of, rather than running a fucking cattle business and just in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's nice to be able to kind of bounce around and go hunt with each group. And when I'm running that many clients, it's hard for me to personally go and even shake their hand, so it's just it's time for me, I feel like, to make a little bit of an adjustment and kind of get back to, I don't want to say get back to where we came from, but just kind of be able to go and have a little more of a relationship with everybody.
The lodge will do that.
The worst feeling in the world is the day that you've got 6 feeds and you've got 2 groups, because you're like, son of a bitch, I'm losing money. That's $10,000 I just pissed off this morning, because I've been there many, many mornings. And the other the worst feeling is when you got 4 groups and you got 2 feeds, and you're like, shit, I wish I wasn't overbooked this time, because it's in fact, you got to deal with what you deal. You got to have your business plan and stick to it.
Well, and I mean, you do a lot of your bookings based on last year, what you did last year or the years before. And then like whenever something like I've seen January be the month that you want to be here. And it was not this last January. I mean, I can tell you that, but you just go off of historical data, and it's part of it. It's a shitty part of it.
Someone's going to call me this week and they're going to say, okay, Jeff, what's the best time to be there? Well, the day you shoot a full limit pretty quick. That's the best day. I don't know what day that's going to be, but that's the best day to be here. What's the worst time to be here? The day you shoot a fucking 0. I mean, and I don't know what day that's going to happen, but I'm telling you it's going to happen next year. It's just, that's the way it is. I mean, it's hunting. We hunt every day in multiple groups. We're going to have bad things happen. Or the day you get here and we get a 70-mile-an-hour southwest wind right before a front gets, and you can't keep a decoy in the ground. I mean, it's hunting and it's weather related.
And it happens. That's it, man. It happens. And, in a picture perfect world, everybody'd have that great experience, and you wouldn't have to worry about the elements, or like you just said, the wind. I think wind is our biggest hinder, just the 70-mile-an-hour wind days. But guess what? We booked them and we're out there. They're just part of it.
Do you ever, I'll tell you another thing I look at that, and this is from, you have to be an outfitter or a guide. A guide's probably not as much as an outfitter. Have to realize this. When we're going to have a blizzard here, or an ice storm or a winter storm or whatever it is, when it happens, and we get one usually once a year, I pray to God that it hits on a Saturday afternoon, or it hits on a Monday or a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday, because those groups are already here so we can hunt them. Nothing worse than it happening on a Sunday afternoon and nobody can get here for Hunt Monday, when we're going to fill up the lodge on a Monday or a Friday. Because once they get here, we're going to hunt. We're going to get you there if we got to take rangers from the lodge to the fields. If you're here, we're going to hunt. And and guys that don't see the financial end of it, we don't want to lose money on a storm.
Yeah.
And I bet you're the same way. When you know you're going to get a winter blizzard, you hope it hits once your clients are already there and not before they can get here.
Yeah, because then you've got to try to figure out if they're going to be able to get here. But you made a good point a while ago, Jeff, that I kind of wanted to hint on a little bit. You know, a lot of people see our, you know, the big groups, and typically when you see a group of, you know, a picture, unless it's like when Coe and them show up, they'll bring 20 guys. They like to party and they like a big pile of birds. But usually speaking, you know, if you see a big pile of 20 people, it was just like you said a while ago. It was a plan B. You had two groups here, and 2 or 3 groups here rather, and you end up with one good feed. And rather than taking one group over there, one group of 8 or 10 guys, and beating the shit out of them, then having the other group go and, you know, run traffic on you, or, you know, vice versa. It's better to have that conversation and say, look, guys, I think we can work, you know, all join together and have a good hunt for everybody. And, you know, it's a hero or zero kind of moment. You either look like a badass because it works out, or now you've got 20 guys that are all pissed off because, well, we were supposed to have our private group and it didn't work. But you have to trust the guide. You have to trust our, you know, judgment. And it's not something I'm uncomfortable with. Obviously, I love to go and put a group of people out there and kill the shit out of them. But it's not something that we really enjoy or try to do every day either.
Well,
you know, it's just, sometimes you have
when
to.
it works, it's great, but boy, when it doesn't work, you look like a dumbass. And I have been on both ends of that deal many, many, many times.
Yeah. We had it happen this year. We had what we thought was going to be just a banger of a crane hunt. We put everybody together, and it was okay, but we thought we had a loaf, and we were going to hunt ducks and geese.
A true loaf, not a Southwest Oklahoma loaf where they shoot in a roost lake and they call it a loaf.
Yeah, birds only used it 11 o'clock on, so we went in there late. And
let's finish this up too. It's on 35,000 acres that we have all the land, so it's not affecting anybody else but us.
Right. So there's geese landing in it the day before. I drive up there. I look at it the day before. We're kind of getting a plan for the next morning. Fucking geese are just dumping in there. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the cranes come. And we hunt there the next day, and there were the geese. We didn't even see geese coming off of the roost. And I was like, oh dear Lord, what has happened? And, you know, we shot a couple geese, and then, you know, we shot some cranes. It was a decent hunt, but, you know, we had kind of sold it the night before.
We thought we were going to shoot 100.
Yeah, like legitimately. I thought we were going to shoot all of our geese and all of our cranes easily with 15 to 20 ducks. That was the floor for me. And I mean, I was disappointed the next day, but it is one of those things. Like you go with what's best at the moment, and because if we'd have taken 8 guys up there and they, you know, shot the triple, the other guys would be like, well, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, you know, we're doing what's best that we think is the best in the moment.
Zach, this last week in Puerto Rico, Zach made a really good analogy. We booked a trip for the family, a boat. We were all going snorkeling, and all of us were going to be on one boat. Well, we get there, and they texted Jesse the day before and said, well.
No, they texted her that morning when we were getting gas.
And said, well, we had boat problems, so we're going to put you on 2 separate boats. Well, our rental car was supposed to be 1 rental car, and they ended up giving us 2. So I was pissed about this, and we got there, and it turned out to be a great experience, great guys. I have no complaints now, but I was bitching. And Zach goes, well, Jeff, now you know how it feels when you double up goose groups every day. You know, when you double up a goose group, this is exactly how they feel right now. And I thought, boy, that's really fucking true right there. You know, you tell them you're going to do one thing, and then they get the lodge, and you're like, and I don't ever force anybody to double up. I always give them the option. Now, the funny thing is I run into this every once in a while too. I'll tell a group this. I said, listen, there's 6 of you in this group, and there's 7 in this other group, and we're going to run all 13 people together. We got to feed 15,000 birds in it. It ought to be a really good hunt. We would like to do that, and I think it'll be work for everybody. And then one group will be like him and a hot, and a guy will come in my office and close the door. He said, well, what we'd like to do is we'd like to just hunt that hot field by ourselves and not double up. Well, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Do you feel like having the lodge kind of helps that out though? Because they may show up as strangers, but
yes,
after that first dinner, everybody's they all know each other in a sense.
In Oklahoma, where we hunt, we don't have a lodge. It's a whole different relationship with guys that come just to Oklahoma. As a matter of fact, I don't even know some of them.
It's a transaction.
They know the guides. Yeah, transaction is what it is. At the lodge, it's more intimate. They know what's going on. And I tell you what, if you have a bad hunt and you're in Oklahoma, and that guy goes to his hotel room and sits around, and nothing good comes of it. If you come to the lodge and you have a bad hunt, and I come up to the table and I visit and I talk with them, and they have dinner with us and stuff, it works out real well. On the really good hunts, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
No.
But on a hunt that's not really good, it shows your people you're not just trying to get in their you're not just trying to get in their pocket. I think it's a lot better deal. Now, we have rules at our lodge that every other outfitter has different rules and whatever they want to do. I don't like my guys that work for me hanging out with my clients a lot of times. I have a social room for the clients and stuff, not because it's rude. It's for both sides. My guides go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. They don't want to sit around and drink beer till 10 or 11 o'clock with customers. They're tired. Shit, they do it 7 days a week. So from my guide standpoint, it's an excuse for them to not have to hang out with people all night.
Right. Yeah.
And then nothing good comes from it. So I don't like that. I like it to be a relationship. We work, we hunt. My guides go over at dinner time. They sit and visit with them and talk about them. Let them people have dinner together. If you want to go sit and eat with your clients at dinner table, I don't care. But most of the guys want to sit at the family table anyways. So that's the thing. I like. Second thing I like about having a lodge is I get to go home. I don't live at the lodge, so I go home every night, whether I get home at 7 o'clock at night or I get home at 10 o'clock at night, because it's all happened all different times. I go home and I disconnect from the lodge for a night. And to me, that is very important.
Well,
sure, you have to get away from work every once in a while.
And like you said, you feel like you have to spread yourself thin and meet every group and spend time with them. When you get localized and centralized at a lodge, that becomes much easier because Jeff's out here. He's not out here for breakfast, but he gets out here before lunch. So he's talking to people before lunch. He's out here all day. He doesn't leave until dinner. But if we have 4 groups out here through the course of 10 in the morning to 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, he's had a chance to talk to everybody and form a relationship. Right. Whereas, if they're just in a hotel, Jeff's got a scout. So like Jeff's not out in the field. So when they're just in a hotel, he can't create that relationship. So that's one thing that I think having a lodge will help you is you don't have to feel like, oh fuck, I got to go over here to talk to them. And then I got to go to that field to talk to them. And you can create relationships much easier that way.
Yeah, sure. Just go have dinner and a beer. Yeah. And I think, you don't right now, like I said earlier, I feel like I've kind of tried to go and hunt with each group. And, and the reason is because those people are calling and they're talking to me or they communicate and book through me. So when they get here, I don't have anybody on my crew that's not a killer, and I wouldn't have somebody that I didn't think could get the job done running hunts. But, sometimes shit happens. And when it happens and it's not my group, then, there's just this stigma like, well, why didn't we get to go hunt with you? I'm not the fucking killer. Everybody on my crew is just as capable, but sometimes it happens. And then those people had a bad hunt. Now it's even more weight on my chest because I feel like, okay, now I've got to try to go hunt with them. And it just having a lodge will just change a whole lot of things for us, man. We're real excited to make that step.
And, when shit goes bad and you're trying to make it up to them, it's always better when it's coming from the head honcho. There's times in Oklahoma where, a hunt's not as good as what you thought it was going to be or whatever. And we try to smooth it over as guides, but that doesn't go as far as when they're talking to the head cheese or the person that they've been talking to all off season booking this hunt. So it
Sure,
carries more
sure.
weight coming from the top.
I try to visit with every group I try to visit with, and I try my best, and I try, especially when guys have a bad hunt, I try to visit with them. I mean, I try to make a point to talk to them and visit, and and you do your best to make sure everybody has a good time, but it is hunting, and the things you can control, your food and stuff, that helps a lot. Michelle and the ladies do such a good job here that it makes us easy because we have a good meal, and they know they're going to have a good meal. You flop down a TV dinner in front of somebody, and it don't help anything at all. So bad hunts, good hunts, or anything, good meals make a lot, and visit with people. And my doors are open. I usually get to the lodge by 9:30, 9 o'clock. I mean, I'll be here earlier. When we're done early, I'm here early, but I can't go to the post office till 8:45. That's when they drop our mail. So I usually make my runs, try to get the mail, and then come to the lodge is my goal. And I'm at the lodge all day long until I scout at 4 o'clock. So I'm from 9 to 4. I'm in my office. My office door is unlocked. They can come to my office anytime they want to. Then I scout from 4 to 6. We have a guide meeting at 6 o'clock in my office, and our new video series, The First Family of Waterfowl, is going to show all this on YouTube. We have a meeting every day. Get done with our meeting. We go out and visit with the clients and go over the game plan for the day. So I'm open all the time. And I have guys all the time when I go in there to eat dinner, they'll try to look for me. And I'll bet you 4 out of 7 days I don't ever finish eating my meal. I go back to my office and selling shirts, visiting with people, talking. But the lodge makes a huge, huge difference. I have guys that hunted in Oklahoma that I've moved to Texas because we didn't have birds or something happened, and I'd say, hey, it's better in Texas right now. They come to Texas. They'd been to Oklahoma for a year or two. They don't ever want to go back to Oklahoma.
Right.
They like being around the lodge.
Yeah.
And they can they're safe out here. You're 9 miles from town, and
you don't have to drive.
You don't have to drive anywhere. So if you want to start drinking at 2 o'clock, well, you just got to walk your drunk ass to dinner. That's 50 steps away. You don't have to drive over to Applebee's and risk getting a DWI or something like that.
Sure.
So it'll be good. I'm excited for you. Is it going to be open this year?
That's what they're telling me, man. Construction is the most stressful thing. But they're telling me it shouldn't be an issue. It's in the works, but I'm looking from the outside in, and it just it's a constant stress. But whether it's materials or back in my construction days, you were there at 6 o'clock. You were there before the sun came up, and sometimes it just doesn't seem like that's the case anymore. You know what I mean?
Do you remember our conversation about a year ago? You talked about this, and you thought, man, if I wait a little bit, things are going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
That damn sure didn't work out that way.
No,
I'm kicking myself in the ass for not. I mean, I think everything works out for the best. I love the location, love the setup, and having the house and the lodge right here on the property is going to be great. But it does. 4 years ago or 3 years ago, when you're kind of thinking, oh man, things can come back to reality. No, it's the same, if not worse. And, and that's another point, man. I feel like we're kind of dealing with a little bit of sticker shock when you come out with the new pricing. And I'm telling you right now, if we didn't have the lodge, I still would have raised my prices $100 a gun. Fuel is going to be double what it was last year. Cost me it was like $156 or some shit to fill my tank up the other day. And if nothing changes, which we all know that it's not anytime soon, it won't surprise me at all if it's already $8 in Canada. So if hunting season gets here, if we're paying $6-7 a gallon, that's $200 a day in fuel on one vehicle. And how many vehicles do we have out scouting every day? It's just people don't understand that, and it sucks because everybody's prices are going up, nobody's pay is going up. So I get it from both sides, but I mean, shit, you gotta take that into consideration when you're looking at the price tag of something,
Well, and like we do meals out here, and just last year, chicken prices and beef prices, and just we couldn't get paper plates or any plasticware. We couldn't get forks, knives, spoons. I mean, nothing towards the end of the year. We were making late night trips to Sam's just to stay afloat. But I mean,
Right.
everything has gone up, from the plastic, from the paper plates that we eat on, to the food that we eat. Like you said, just gas alone. They're saying oil's going to be $200 a barrel by the end of the summer, and I think it's at $120 today.
No shit, it was $114 yesterday, I think.
Yeah, so they're saying $200 a barrel for oil. We'll be paying $6 at the pump.
Yeah, in a hurry.
Yeah,
it's almost there. I don't know what it is down there.
$4.29.
$5.29.
$4.29.
Oil's $115 today, $116 almost. We paid $1.23 in Puerto Rico.
A liter,
which
is fucking, I don't know what it is, but $160 to fill up.
Yeah,
it just looks good when you're driving up. You're like, oh, this ain't gonna be that bad, and the dollars just turn over faster. I didn't realize it was that expensive in Canada.
Yeah, Cole was actually telling me that the other day. We were talking about just trying to buy a couple of scout rigs, get a couple of Priuses, But no, man, it's insane. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. It's kind of the new norm, I guess.
A couple years ago in Oklahoma, I almost went to Hertz and rented a fucking little Kia Soul. And was going to do all my driving around, scouting, and all that shit. And I thought, man, that's the way to go, because back then you could rent a car for $400 a month.
Now you can't even rent a car.
Well, if you rent a car, it's when you go on a vacation right now. If you do an Airbnb and you fly somewhere and you rent a car, you're going to pay almost as much for your car rental as you do your fucking house for a week. Mm-hmm. It's crazy what car rentals cost nowadays. You rent a car, it's $1,500, $2,000 a week now. If you get something of any quality. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely freaking asinine to pay that kind of money to fucking rent a car, and then have to pay $100 to fill the bastard up.
Yeah. It's nuts, but I'm afraid that's the new norm. I hope that I'm wrong, but we've been dealing with this shit for 4 years now.
Well, 3 years, I guess. George Floyd. Somebody posted a meme the other day. They had their picture of George Floyd, and they said, 3 years ago, this is what gas prices was.
Show that cop what sitting
took my breath away.
Yeah,
when I saw what gas was a long time ago.
$1.88 a gallon is what it was in. I went up on our prices this year, and I actually had a guy complain, kind of bitching to me about it. He said, I can't believe you went up on your prices. Yeah, we did. We went up on 15% on my prices. I said, it costs 15% more to go to the fucking grocery store. It costs more than 15% to buy gas. Yes, I did go up on my prices like a best. But you know what's crazy is, we hunt a lot of construction guys. I'm sure you do. Those guys are busy as hell. They can't even get people to work for them. They're so busy. So everybody's making a little bit of money still. It's just costing so much to live. The guy who works 40 hours a week and is getting paid the same salary he was 2 years ago, he's hurting though.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, the construction, there's work out there. Those guys are they're making money, but it's a different mindset too. Those are your guys that work 7 days a week and always have, so really nothing's changed for them except for they can't find help. Nobody wants to work anymore.
No. Well, the oil field business is like crazy right now. I saw, I think David Weber had a deal of how much they were paying for floor hands and stuff. If your ass is unemployed and you're eating fucking dog food and cat food for food, go get you a job in the oil field right now. You can make a shitload of money right now. They're starting guys off at $30, $40 an hour. No experience in some places. Plus, you're going to get 40 hours overtime every 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
How were the guides this year? You had Cole out there, Chance, and he's done his swan song. This was his last year out there. He's moved on.
Yeah.
How was everybody this last year?
You become a family, Chance, it's going to hurt to not have his funny ass around every day. But at the same time, he's still my best friend. We talk all the time. And he's grown up, hell, I can't blame the kid for getting closer to home. And, but it's going to be different. But everybody else, man, I mean, Cole's great. Calvin was great. There's a lot of the same familiar faces, but it's not a forever deal. It's forever for me. It's forever for you guys. This is our career. Some of these young guys, they maybe have done it forever, but locations change, faces change. And sometimes people just need to go kind of kick the grass on the other side in the other yard a little bit, see what the grass feels like over there.
That's exactly right. In 30 years of doing this, I've had 100 different guides work for me over the years, come and go through these doors. Our life hasn't changed any. I mean, my kids have grown up, but we basically are doing the same basic thing we've done for 30 years. I mean, there's been a little bit of changes, but for my family, it's just new faces that come in and become part of our hunting lodge family for a little bit. Right. And then they'll grow up and go on and do their thing. And it's a tough deal. I hated to see Chance leave because I really like Chance. And
I do too.
I'll tell you what, he checks on me a lot on a lot of different things. He'll message me and see just randomly out of the blue. He's a really good kid, and I really, really like him, and he's a funny little bastard.
He is, man. I think, he'd been here from the very beginning, and so to lose somebody that's, got that big of an impact, and it sucks. But at the same time, you got to be happy for somebody to get closer to home. He's growing up. He's got a serious relationship, and he got a hell of an opportunity. I can't hold that against him. The light will always be on here, and he knows that. But it's time for him to make a change. And hell, he's doing his trucking thing, and he's happy. Texas is not for Chance. Never has been. He's happy for about 2 weeks, and then he's fucking miserable.
But that's the thing, this isn't a long-term. It's a young man's sport.
That's right.
For the most part, there's exceptions, but
sure.
If you get 3 to 5, if you get 5 years out of a guide, you've done very well. And if you get 3 years out of a guy, you've done really well. But that's kind of the barometer. Anything over 5 years is just kind of extra time with somebody.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that's about right?
I think that's very true. I think that it depends the life deals. I'll give an example of two guys. We had a guy named Dane Robehealth that worked for us for a long time. Dane, he was 7 years here, maybe?
Something around
7 or 8 years. And we had 3 guides that were here basically the same time. Well, Dane, his dad him and his dad had an excavation company in Minnesota. Well, during that time of year, they couldn't work during hunting season, so it worked out perfect for him. Well, he got married, and when he got married and she got pregnant, that was the end of that deal. It's time to grow up and be at home all the time, and I understand that. Blake farms. Mm-hmm. Blake's off season is during our time. He likes to come down here. It's vacation for him also.
Paid vacation.
And then he comes down here. Well, now he's getting married next year. So as soon as he puts a bun in the oven, I'm assuming that Blake's probably 2-3 years, and that's probably about it for him too.
Yeah.
And that's just the cycle that we get into. Stoner's the same way right now. He don't have a serious relationship, but when he gets one, he gets married to be the same. But you have to find someone that's got to work around something else. And and it's a growing up deal because it's hard to make a living in the hunting business. I mean, you can look and there are tons of guys that try to do it, but you've got to not be able to. Do you work anywhere else, Toby?
I don't anymore, man. I finally, I was in the bar and restaurant business for a long time. What year did COVID hit?
2020.
2020. So I ran my last shift at the restaurant. I think it was February 13th, February 14th, somewhere in there. And then the world shut down in March. It was one of the many blessings that the Lord has given me. I got extremely lucky, didn't have to run the restaurant through that. But by that time, I was secure enough with the hunting that we just made a few changes. And, it opened the door for me to be able to focus 100% on hunting. That's really when things kind of turned on for us, is when I was able to put it all into the hunting.
1994 was the last time I worked for anyone else full-time other than being a judge, that I actually worked as a regular job in the off-season and took a leave. I took a leave of absence in 1994 from my job to come out here to hunt during hunting season. I've never been back.
They still waiting on you?
I've still got keys to the buildings, but I assume they know I'm not coming back. But but there's not very many people that are in that situation. Andy, when's the last time you were? Now, you and Tony do some construction in the off season. Y'all do very little now, but you basically haven't worked since when you left college. You've basically been here the whole time, full time, right?
I had some odd. I mean, college jobs. Worked at a t-shirt shop and a golf course and stuff like that.
But since 2011.
Yeah.
So basically, for a decade, you've not worked anywhere but here, basically, other than yourself doing something.
Right.
And that freedom's worth a whole lot.
It is, man. Something that I think is important for like the younger guys that are listening right now, or just our clients for that matter. People think that, once a season ends, we work for 3 or 4 months and then we sit on our ass and kick our feet up.
No.
And I'll say now, used to when I'd get done with hunting season, it was right back to the restaurant, just right back to it. Now, when all of your eggs are in one basket, there is no such thing as an off season. There's always something going on. But in that 4 months, Cole and I talked about it this season, just kind of thinking about how many hours do we really put in? How many hours a day? And yeah, there's those days where you get lucky and you're like you said earlier, 9 o'clock. But then there are those days where you're hunting till 11, 11:30, go grab a sandwich, kick your feet up for an hour, get back out on the road and scout. And, we hunt a really large area. So it's not like we get to drive 15 minutes and find birds. Sometimes that's the case, but there are times where we're driving, half an hour to an hour one way. Still, we're not getting back home until 9:30 in the evening. And so in that 4 months, you work more hours than your average guy, working a 40-hour work week does in a year. You just do it all in 4 months.
I've thought the same thing for a long time. And like I back in my work hours. And now with podcasts, with what we've started here, like I'm busier now than I ever was doing construction. I mean, way, way busier. Sure. I was up at 5 o'clock. Yeah. I felt like shit last night, so I went to bed early. But I was up at 5 o'clock this morning getting today's episode ready to go. And then I'll probably be up till 10:30 or 11 tonight working on this one. But it's just it is what it is. But, you just –
there ain't nobody feeling sorry for any of us.
No, fuck, and I'm not, and I don't want them to. I'm not looking for sympathy. This is something that I chose to do. This path that I walked down, and like it is what it is. I'll do that. I don't care. But
wouldn't say it for the world, but it's just that my thing is just that misconception that I love what I do, and it's a blessing to call this a job, but you got the freedom of doing this and hopping on. I'm in the comfort of my own home. That's all great. But just the misconception that all we do is work hard for 3 months and then, fuck off the rest of the year. It couldn't be farther
I go to the lodge 5 days a week this time of year. When September gets here, and I'm just going to use September 1st as the starting point because that's when hunting season starts. We're busy. August is busy for us also. But September 1st until the end of January, I'm at this lodge an average of at least 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. There might be a day that I'm not here, like Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve, but I'm here 16 hours a day a lot of other days. But I'm here every day. Right. And in the off season, from February 1 till August 31st, I'm in the office 5 days a week. Now, some days I'm here for an hour or two. I'm not going to lie. Some days I'm here. Usually I'm here by 9 o'clock. I get the mail at 8:45. I come to the lodge at 9. A lot of times I go home at 2, 3, 4 o'clock. I mean, I'm here till at least 1 or 2 every day. If the grandkids are here, I'll go home and get in the pool with them. But I work just as much as I work as much as a lot of guys do that work for someone else. Everybody that's successful and self-employed works more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Unless you're really, really successful, but you put in more than 40 hours a week to become really successful. That's right. But everybody that I know that's successful, self-employed, no matter if they own an electrical company, a plumbing company, they sell dildos. It don't matter what they do. Those people put in to be successful, you got to put in your hours.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so,
I mean, it's just like even in the music industry, you want to be successful there, get ready.
Yeah.
Go fucking cut your teeth.
Man. And I tell these young guys all the time, man. I know y'all get the same messages I do. Hey, do you have any pointers? Hey, want to get into this? And it can be a glamorous, I guess, to some degree. Just we all dreamed about getting here, so to live that dream is I'm not bitching about it. But the biggest thing, man, is just not be willing to settle and not ever accept the fact that you're at the top of this fucking mountain, because you can fall right off just as fast as you got there. So you have to continue that growth and be willing to just keep climbing and keep climbing and keep climbing. Like this step back that I took this year is just to some people may look at it like, oh, maybe things aren't as good as they were or whatever. But to me, it just made more sense to maybe take a little step back financially and run less people, but to me, it was more important to do that and have that reputation. And where I was going with that is just these kids. I don't think you just can't take no for an answer, man. It's always everything's possible. You just got to want it bad enough and work your dick off and not be willing to settle.
Right. And I heard somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Mike Tyson. He said, you have to do things that you hate, but you have to do them like you love them. And, you know, you have to, somebody else said, the person that loves to walk will walk further than anybody else because they love the process. And if you don't love the process of having a good hunt, and if you don't love the grind and you don't love the chase and scouting and setting decoys 7 days a week, if you're only in it for that short little Instagram, that little dopamine kick that comes whenever you post a burner of a pile pick on social media, you're not going to make it. Like you have to love the process. You have to love scouting birds. You have to love, hey, how am I going to set my decoys today? You got to love getting your ass kicked and getting back up on the horse and saying, what can I do differently tomorrow that I didn't do today? Yeah,
it's a learning process, man. And every day has to be a learning process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you'll get lucky and, you know, have a good run, but Mother Nature has a way of smacking in the ass and showing you that, she's still in control.
She'll catch up to you. You're not getting that far ahead of her. And that's what we had a record month this last month in downloads by a large margin. Yeah. And instead of me being like, oh, you know, okay, we did something good here, all I can think about is fuck. Next month starts tomorrow. How am I going to top this or what I've already done? And that's the same way with waterfowl hunting. Like if we have a good hunt and I'm walking back to the pickup at 8:30, I'm about 50 yards outside the decoy spread, and I'm thinking, okay, tomorrow, what are we going to do? How are we going to top this? So I don't know. And that could be just me or my sick mentality.
Oh, hell no. You make it 50 yards out of the decoy. You're doing better than me, man. I'm that guy sitting there watching a volley come in. I already contemplate, you know, what's the game plan for tomorrow and what time's the next group getting here. You know, you always have that in the back of your head, man. It never stops. And I think there's a lot to that. You know, you love having a good hunt, but you know, I'm bad about it. We may go and have a spectacular hunt or, you know, have a hell of a stack, but as soon as we get in the truck, you know, the guys are all kind of talking and what's wrong with you? You know, and it's not that anything's wrong. You're just, if you're not nitpicking every fucking bird and what you could have done differently, or maybe could have called this shot different, or, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not that you expect to be perfect, but you want to be perfect, and you want everybody to have the best perfect scenario. And it doesn't always work like that, but I think you just have to have that mentality of always learning from every bird, every scenario. And then you're a hunter. You're not just hunting in one area. You can take those tricks and go anywhere in the country. I think I've told you this before, but my hat's really off to you because you are a big name in the hunting industry, and you don't shy away from your not so glamorous moments. Like there's plenty of times that you'll post a picture and it'll be 4 or 5 geese in front of the people. So you leaning into that, my hat is really off to you because you're in a position to where you could only show the highlight reel, and you know, you've got enough of a highlight reel that you could just post that 7 days a week and put out this false persona of, hey, we're really smacking them. But you know, you dial it back and you show people the reality of being in the hunting industry. And not only that, being in the hunting industry at a very high level. And, you know, you lean in, and my hat's off to you. So for doing that. Oh, I appreciate it. And it's a big pet peeve of mine, you know, seeing people that do just post the good stuff. And I understand it. You know, we got a lot of shit early on for posting big pile pictures and, you know, thinking that it was this big flex. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm paying for it now. You know, for years, we were the only people around here, myself and one other group. Right. We were the only people hunting. And now that's not the case anymore. It's turned into a money game. It's turned into, paying more than we should be to hunt a field. But I feel like that all comes with business. But, you post all the good and none of the bad, then those people that come and hunt with you and have a bad hunt, you're only doing that shit to yourself. So any guide or outfitter that makes a post saying that they kill limits every day is full of shit and not somebody that you should go and hunt with, in my opinion. It just it doesn't happen every day. I don't care who the fuck.
No, and I mean, and you're gonna struggle, and there's gonna be ups and downs to the season, but just you got to go with it, and But I'm like, we tried. I'm looking back at January, just thinking about it, and like we tried everything. We hung out of A-frames a lot. We were in decoys. We were doing it your way. We were in tall socks. We were hiding in white. We were hiding in darks. We did everything. We ran an all full body spread. I hadn't done that in about 8 years. And
same here, dude. Towards the end of the year, and that's I think that's when you start having the most issues with your guys too. Right. At least for us, that mid to late January, we're already tired, missing home, whatever the case may be, and then the hunting. Inevitably, you're going to hit that lull, and it may last a week, it may last 2 weeks, but in that 2 weeks, everybody's blaming everybody. Mm-hmm. It's all somebody else's fault. The decoys, or we should have done this, we should have done that, and it's hunting, man. It's hunting, but we did the same thing. We're pulling out full bodies. We're running small spreads, running big spreads, hiding outside the decoys. I mean, birds are smarter than we give them credit for being.
Yeah.
Especially when you're having to hunt the same damn ones every day. And in a picture perfect year where you've got multiple groups of birds, or whatever you want to call it, it's great. You can bounce between those, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. This year was one of those years for us. We had 2 groups of birds and we hunted them every damn day.
Did you take advantage of that February hunting that the state's so proud of?
Going away this year.
Jeff, I did not. No, did not at all. I had a couple of guys stay here. Cole and Jaden stayed here for that last 2 weeks. We kind of tied it up trailer, just kind of getting some busy work done, and we did buddy hunt a little bit. But man, I mean, I'll go on record again. It's still not worth. It's not worth it. It doesn't affect me as bad as it does you guys. We still will have a few. Like if I wanted to hunt, and I thought it was going to be consistent, we still have some birds around, but it's not consistent enough to get them hunt those damn pound birds every day. It's not worth it.
What's funny is there's an outfitter that's north of me, a younger guy, and he's a real nice kid. And he all the time, he invites me to come up like February 14th. You want to come up and hunt with us? We got a feed up here. Hell no.
I know the hell
there ain't no way. When January 30th got here and that Sunday was over at noon, I was done. Done. Yeah. I didn't and I'd have guys, hey, do you have any birds down there? Fuck, I don't know. I ain't went and looked. I'll start looking for geese about October 14th when they're here. Until then, I'm not going to go look for a damn goose.
I even because we had that late blizzard. And we were doing the same thing as you, tidying up trailers and everything. I was like, leave a trailer with a blind ready and some decoys on it. That fucking blizzard rolled in, and it got to like 13 below, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not going out there. I don't have enough propane in my heater to fuck around with that. So, but I did. I had all the intentions, and I was like, it rolled in. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. No, Cole and Jaden went on a hunt with that big snow, and I mean, they were hunting probably 5 minutes from the house, and they had a good hunt. But I'm like you, man. I mean, after 4 months of having to be out in that shit every day, I still love it. Don't get me wrong. But if you after that amount of time, if you give me the choice of snuggling up in the warm pillow with the wife, or going and freezing my ass off to stare at some geese I've been cussing for the last 4 months. Yeah. I'm going to stay in bed with the lady all day, every day.
All day, every day. So what projects do you have coming this off season? You got anything we need to know
just
about?
Trying to get the lodge done. We got the website up and going. That was a big project. Oof. But really focusing on the merch right now, man. We kind of had some success with that, and I had never really taken it seriously. So kind of took a little bit of a leap of faith in that, and so far so good. I think it's going to work. But as far as the lodge goes, man, so we're not only are we going to do the hunting lodge, we plan to do like weddings, events, stuff like that in the off season. So kind of spread the eggs so they're not all in one basket.
Right.
You know, be able to make a little income in the off season.
I saw your shirts; they looked really cool.
Are you good? Are you going to Squad Fest?
So I won't make it this year, Jeff. It's the same weekend as my anniversary. It sucks. I wanted to be there, but Co's got his birthday earlier that week, and then I think me and my wife are going to go try to travel and have ourselves a nice getaway. It's been a few years since we really did up our anniversary, so we're going to go try to make a weekend trip out of it.
Where y'all going?
We're still trying to decide, man. We're going to be in Dallas for Co's party, and then planning on flying out somewhere after that. So if you got any suggestions, let me know.
Key West.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Have you been to Puerto Rico?
I have not, man. I have not.
We just got back. It's a clean version of Mexico.
Yeah.
Safe. I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful place.
You know, somewhere this is where I want to go with the next trip to the missus. Just like a weekend type giveaway. All the shit out in West Texas, Fort Davis.
I wouldn't go there in the summertime.
No, the bungalow.
Yeah, Terralinga and all that
the
stuff,
bungalow,
yeah.
the roofless tents or whatever. You can see the star. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to go there for a week, but some like long weekend type thing with the wife. I don't know. Looks like something I could wrap my head around. And I've never been to that part of Texas.
Me and Michelle's 25th anniversary is coming up in a month. And you know what we're doing?
Popping fireworks.
Probably. I don't even have a clue. We just did a week vacation with the kids and we're doing another week-long vacation in Seattle in July. So I don't think we're doing anything. I looked at booking a trip for me and her to the Bahamas, and I thought, I'm not saving money. We've spent enough money this off season going places, but I really did enjoy Puerto Rico. I would go back again. It was a pretty place. I've never been to the Turks and Caicos, and I've always wanted to go, and we were flying over it. It is absolutely beautiful, but Jesus Christ, you got to have Guggenheim money to go to that place.
I was fixing to mention him. That's one
Caicos?
place that Googie likes to go. Yeah. Tina and I have kind of tossed around she loves wine, so we kind of talked about the Napa thing, or I don't know, man. I've been the whole way back home this weekend. I just kind of kept telling her, why don't you look and try to find us a place to go. So we'll see. Hell, if I leave the ball in her court, we'll probably be sitting out in the backyard by the
There's
pool.
There's nothing wrong with
kids.
that. That's a blessing and a half. I'm telling you right now.
No. It is, man.
So what do you have to
is.
do to get your liver prepared for Co's birthday party? You like drinking gallons of water?
Well, I'll say this, man. I don't bounce like I used to. Those guys rolled through town. They rolled through town this last week. One of our buddies is getting married, and they were going to his bachelor party. So they stopped through, stayed at the house Tuesday night, and I'm not the man that I once was, man. It takes me a couple of days to bounce back. Those liquid IVs are they come in handy.
Not when you put them with wine.
Yeah, don't put him with wine. Blake did that this last. he got tore down. Was it New Year's Eve? No, Christmas. It was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Woo.
Blake, he drank everything. He drank beer, bourbon, red wine, white wine. Anything you put in front of him.
Everything but tap water.
And my wife was like, hey, we've got liquid IVs. You ought to take one. Tomorrow's Blake will thank today's Blake. And we left, told everybody good night, Merry Christmas. And
I couldn't get rid of him.
We get a text the next day, and evidently he put his liquid IV in his last glass of red wine and mixed them.
We had a bunch of leftover food, Michelle always makes enough stuff for an army. And I always ask her, who the hell do you think you're feeding? Yeah. Well, we have a family in town that doesn't have a lot. And so I called them that night, Christmas Eve, about 10 o'clock at night, and I said, hey, I've got a whole Christmas dinner here if you'd like to have it. We had sweet potatoes, ham, turkey, the whole thing. And he came over to get it. he sent his child in to get this. His kid's about 13 or 14 years old. And the guy's, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but anyways, the guy's name, we'll call him Bob. And so this kid comes over and Blake's like, oh, come on in, Bob. Here, we got all this stuff for you. The kid's name was not Bob. It's, he thought it was Bob, but old Blake was just, I don't think he left till midnight that night, but he drank every freaking thing that there was. And I thought, that poor fucker tomorrow, he is going to be miserable.
If it was in a bottle or a can, he was down in it.
Yeah. So did how'd the IV mix with
Not
wine?
good.
He was sick.
Sick, felt like shit the next day, like sick, just not good.
I'll tell you a funny story, Toby, on that. Blake comes to my house and he wallers. Yeah. Blake's an aggressive sleeper, and he's aggressive when he comes to my house. He wallers out our floor, and he's laying on the floor and stuff. My youngest grandson got a machine. No, my oldest grandson got a machine gun, airsoft gun of some sort, fully automatic. And my youngest grandson picks it up by the fucking trigger. And have you ever seen that video in Brazil of that monkey with that AR-15 or AK-47 that shoots that? He just shoots. That's what my grandson did. He touched that trigger and that so much went, and fucking Christmas ornaments are shooting off the tree, and he shoots Blake in the ass about 6 times. Blake's trying to sleep it off, and the kid getting shooting him in the ass.
Blake's like, motherfucker, I just wanted to come over here and sleep this off, and I'm getting shot at by your kids. It's a wrong.
I tell you, I envy my wife, man. My wife is one of those that can just go, and I've never seen her with a hangover. She's just she may get drunk as balls and sloppy, but she ain't gonna be sick the next day.
I wish that was me. And my wife's the same as me, because if I get hungover, I'm not worth shooting the next day. Like I just want to fucking lay in a hole. I want to close my eyes and just wait for this to end. Guys that party all the time, like Cole West, we'll use him as an example. Like I don't know how guys like him do it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys, and I mean, I'm not just picking on him, but just that whole rock star mentality, all the time, hard partiers. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I'll say when I was bartending, man, got a damn fly in here. I need one of them fly guns. But when I was bartending, you drink a shot with everybody, and it's just those small amounts. You drink all night, every night, and you build up a tolerance. And anymore, there's no way that I can hang. Mm-mm. But I think that's it. They drink every day of the week, and it's just
their condition.
It makes them healthy. Look at Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar looks like he's 55 years old. Bill Clinton, he's been banging Hillary for all them years. He looks like he's fucking death pickled over.
Insides are pickled.
Oh, Keith Richards.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old are the Stones?
God, I don't know, man, but they've looked old our whole lives.
Yeah.
Same thing with Willie. Willie's always looked old. Some bitch is still going.
I saw where Steven Tyler checked himself into rehab. How many rehabs has the guy got left? Fuck, he's got to be 80 or close to it.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger is 78. The immortal guitarist Keith Richards is 77, and Ronnie Woods is 74.
And all of them are still alive.
Yeah, and fucking playing.
Yeah, still at it.
That tells you about today's music.
Yeah.
What? Still the old guys are still they fill in places to go.
Yeah, but it's all the fucking 50s and 60-year-olds.
Name a band today, a rock band today that's going to be still relevant in 15 years.
Maroon 5.
I don't even really call them a rock band.
What would you call them?
A pop band.
Is there a rock band today?
I don't have. That's my question. I mean, all the ones that are filling up the stuff are the old timers. Like who today? Toby, you're a music guy. Name a rock and roll band today.
I don't know there is one.
That hadn't been around for 20 years.
Yeah, that's tough, man. And honestly, I'm embarrassed to say, but I really hadn't listened to rock. That's what I played, But in my opinion, rock and roll died in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like I was a big Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Candlebox. Those were the guys that I really appreciated. And there was some really good rock in the early 2000s, but no, I think there's something to be said about that, though, man. I agree with you.
There's none, but I'll bet you.
I don't have any Motley Crues anymore.
No. I don't even listen to classic rock though.
I do. Yeah. I mean,
who doesn't?
My playlist is all over the place, but you're right. There's those old schoolers that are still coming out and doing it. They're still packing out stadiums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know that there's bands today.
I don't know. I don't listen to nothing. I don't even listen to any new country music.
But
I don't no more.
I think it's just a lot of solo acts. I don't even know that there are like quote unquote bands like you used to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only new song I know right now, and I'm sure I listen to some because Michelle listens to whatever is on XM radio, the new country music. Is it The Highway or something? Whatever it is that.
Oh, yeah.
And she listens to that, and it's new music. Kenny Chesney's got a new song about a woman. I can't remember what it's called. It's really a good song. Mm-hmm. But I don't listen to much new music of any sort at all, but I still listen to the old rock and roll. And I say old rock and roll from about 2000 on. One of my favorite artists is Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
I think he's a badass.
He's good.
Yeah. We finally got to see John Mayer a couple of weeks ago. That guy's phenomenal.
What was that, like a concert, or was that like an acoustic type setting?
No, it was a concert, full band.
Was it?
And man, he'd been on my bucket list for a long time, and it was nice to be able to finally check that one off.
We saw Aaron Lewis about 2 years ago, and it was just an acoustic thing. It was in Oklahoma City, tiny. Wouldn't even call it an arena. Like 500 people max in there, and it was just him and a guitar and a piano player. And I'm telling you what, that was the best concert. And I'm not a big concert goer guy, but like that was fun because that was it was small, it was intimate, it was almost like he was just up there for my wife and I just strumming the guitar.
Yeah, no, and that's one talented son of a bitch too. One of my good buddies is friends with him, and that's another one that's kind of in the talking stages of trying to get down here. He likes to hunt too. And just I like everything the man stands for. You know, he's got the balls to say what's on his mind, and doesn't care if he offends anybody in the way. I like that.
Just stand behind it. Yeah, no shame in that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, my friend, we've kept you over an hour. We appreciate you coming on here. I hate that we're not going to see you at Squad Fest, but I understand. You know, you got to keep the home life in order. So.
You bet, man. Thank you guys as always for having us, man.
And people, I mean, I'm sure it's easy to get a hold of you. Just look on Instagram. But Cadillac Creek, that's the best way, right?
CadillacCreek.com. All of our contact stuff's on there. But easiest way, man, is email or text me. My phone's always ringing, and it's literally easier to just email me or text me. That way I can look at the calendar while we're talking,
right.
You know. But yeah, I'm not hard to find.
What about your T-shirts? If somebody wants to get that, is that on your website?
Yes, sir. CadillacCreek.com.
Very good, my friend. Well, listen, if there's anything we can ever do for you in the future, just let us know, and we'll talk down the road. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Sir.
God bless. Y'all have a good one.
Be safe, Toby, and God bless you, my friend. Toby Brohlin.
The one and only.
Interesting cat. I'm telling you right now. Interesting dude.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Probably one of the most interesting guys in the waterfowl, outside of the waterfowl business. Not talking about the waterfowl, just as an individual.
He's a good guy.
Interesting guy. Still think it's funny when he made fun of fucking Kip Winger. He hadn't been relevant in 10 years.
Yeah.
Need more of that in the world. All right. Hey, remember, Ducks Unlimited has got I just saw it just a minute ago. I was trying to get my notes.
The 5K run?
The 5K run starts this weekend. The Waddle.
Is that this weekend? Oh, the 5th, isn't it?
It starts June 4th. I just had it pulled up.
Steven Tyler is 74.
Well, he looks like he's 96.
Did you see him feeding the kid with Down syndrome, though?
No, good for him.
Yeah, it was. It was a very touching moment. I'll see if I can find it real quick while you're...
DU Dash, Saturday, June 4th, Sunday to June 12th. Registration info. Check them out on ducks.org. All participants will receive an exclusive DU Dash shirt and a DU Dash medal featuring a mallard with a movable flapping wing. Go do something for the Ducks. It's the inaugural DU Dash, June 4th to 12th. 5K, 10K run, walk, or our 5K anyway. That's my way. 5K, I'm going to drive to the lodge that day, so that'll be mine. So
Are you going to?
No, I will do a 5K that day because we're going to walk to that concert. I'll more than get in my 5K that day.
So are you going to enter and like do it that way, or
I don't need a shirt.
Huh?
I'm good. I don't need a shirt. I may enter that just for that reason and do my 5K, but I will do my 5K for sure.
You realize that's 2.2 miles.
I'll walk a lot more than that day.
You think so?
5 miles. Yeah. Tony told me He did 23,000 steps one day at Disney World last week.
He told me 20,000.
20,000. Okay, 20. Tucker did 31, I think he said.
Right.
God almighty. We did 10,000 one day on our trip.
Probably so.
We did.
But yeah, here's Steven Tyler. You were making fun of him earlier, but I mean, this is just.
I make fun of him because he's pickled and stuff. I think it's
just choke you up.
Jesus, that's Steven Tyler.
That's Steven.
Looks like an old woman.
Well, he's got a very good heart. That guy.
I never said he didn't have a good heart.
I can't remember the particulars of this.
Well, I can tell you what, that motherfucker's got a voice.
Oh my God, timeless. I don't know if that kid in the wheelchair was there because they had his granddaughter's birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese of all places, and I don't know if that kid was there or invited, but he just hung out with that kid all day, pushed him around, played video games with him, fed him pizza.
Good for Steven Tyler. I never said he was a bad guy. I just said he looks like an old woman.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's a great musician.
I don't know. There's something when guys like that do stuff like this, I'm always
makes you feel better about humanity.
Well, it does, and it makes me feel better about him because he's Steven Tyler. He's Steven effing Tyler.
I saw a video of him one time. Was walking through a train station somewhere, and a guy was singing his song. The guy was doing pretty good. And Steven Tyler watched it, and he said, "Do you mind if I sing another one with you?" And they sang together.
Did it?
Yeah, so much good. I'll tell you one of the badass things I saw. I'm a Billy Joel fan. Billy Joel has got my favorite song of his is the Empire State. Empire State of Mind.
Yeah.
Great tune. He was in concert one time. He had a guy come up and play the piano for him doing it. Somebody told him he could do it, and he come up and played the piano, and Billy Joel sang it.
Is this it? No, that's not a Steven Tyler song.
No, that's not it, but it showed him.
He just played with a guy. That's not it. But yeah, it's hard.
Wait, go to the first one, the very top one.
No, that's not it. That's like a professional thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I like seeing stuff like that.
Steven Tyler has got a great voice. One of the greatest voices there is in rock and roll. I would put his voice up there close to Elvis's.
You need to watch this. When you get home.
Him and Slash.
Oh my goodness. Dream On at the Howard Stern birthday party in 2014.
I wouldn't piss on Howard Stern if he's on fire.
Well, I wouldn't either, but Steven Tyler and Slash.
Oh, great musicians.
That in 2014, like that was before Trump and everything. So
is Slash the greatest African American guitarist ever?
Is he from Africa? Is he like Elon Musk?
No, he's black, half black. You're looking at me like I'm on drugs, Andy.
I don't.
He's half black.
I wouldn't consider him. I would consider him half African American.
Okay.
Was he born over here?
Well, I'm not saying he's from. I think he was born in probably L.A.
But whenever you get a chance,
this bitch can play guitar too, boy. He's as good as Eddie
here,
what the hell's his name? Purple.
Pass.
What's Smoke on the Water? Jimi Hendrix. I think he's every bit as good as Jimi Hendrix is.
I'll fast forward to when Slash comes out. Here he comes in 10 seconds.
That's when you know somebody when they're playing at your birthday.
Yeah, no shit, right?
What a fucking voice.
And I don't know how he's kept his voice for this long.
Lots of drugs.
You think so?
I guess.
You think drugs preserve you?
Well, he is so talented. Them old hands.
Oh, my God. Slash is about to come out and just bring the fucking house down. I said he was.
I don't see him yet. There he is. Here he comes.
You think he made enough money with Guns N' Roses that he doesn't have to work again? You think he still has money?
If he don't, they're fucking idiots. They made millions and millions.
Well, I don't. Does Axl have a bunch of money still?
Probably.
Oh, you think so?
Guns N' Roses, the greatest band ever. They just didn't have enough albums. They don't put goosebumps on you. I don't know what will.
Oh, he's just a badass.
See, there's not a band out today that's making music like this. Not one. There ain't one fucking song out right now that's going to be relevant 20 years from now, probably. That's not country music song. And I don't even know if any of them are.
Yeah, but
what music's music?
Well,
that would be a hit today if it come out.
I think that there's too much music now.
I don't know, but there ain't
I
nothing
think
good.
and music's different now too. Just everything's different now. The records don't sell.
People listen to podcasts and stuff too much now. There's designer radio,
right?
Is what it is. I mean, we don't listen to that much music, but I would bet if you looked at Sirius XM, I would bet you money right now. I bet you at lunch that classic rock is one of their top 5 of all the things they have on their whole platform.
I don't think Sirius releases their numbers.
Or XM or whoever. But I will bet you that classic 70s rock is probably their number 1 channel in the top 5 at least. I mean, on my XM, I listen to sports, podcast, or I listen to 70s a lot of times. If I'm not listening to my own music off of my phone. But if I listen to music, if I have to put it on a channel, I'm going to do classic rock or 60s or 70s. They don't have 60s no more. I guess all the 60s people died because now it's 70s is it. The 60s channel they took off.
I don't know how relevant or whatever that is, but it says Howard at 1.2 million, and I don't know if this is per day, per month, per week, per year. I don't know.
I can't believe that many people still listen to that cocksucker.
That also says 2008. So
that's probably right then. That's the exact.
500,000 on Hits 1, 500,000 or closer to 600,000 on Hits 1.
Classic vinyl is
News Country, Big 80s, Octane.
But that's from 2008, so that's changed a lot.
So. Here we go. Maybe this will be it.
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, Sirius is a private company, so I don't know that they release their.
Well, I just think they would tell people what their most
analytics are.
Sirius XM Hits 1, Pop 2K.
I like Pop 2K.
Beatles channel. I don't ever listen to it. Classic Rewind, Classic Vinyl. That's what I mean. There's 3 of the top 5 are old musics.
Howard's behind Kevin Hart's.
I'd rather listen to Kevin Hart than him. Kids Bop is ahead of Howard Stern. That's bad.
What a fall.
You know what? The Garth channel, I can't stand Garth Brooks, liberal bastard. His music is good because he plays a lot of stuff that I like also. Because Mom listens to the Garth channel a lot. I listen to Kenny Chesney's channel a lot, and I listen to Jimmy Buffett a lot.
I was a big Howard Stern fan.
Yeah, you used to be big.
Big. And then Trump got elected, and it got to be a bash Trump for 3 hours. But David Letterman has a show on Netflix. I didn't even know about it.
I saw that. The Last Guest or something?
My next guest. It's been going on 4 years. I never heard about it. So I was just looking at it to see who he'd had on, and Howard Stern was his very first guest. So I watched it last night, and it was good. But it was 2018, and there's like 3 minutes there at the very last quarter of the episode where he doesn't bash Trump, but David does.
Fuck David Letterman too.
And but Howard was like, Trump was, if you look at the picture perfect guest for a radio show, it was Donald Trump, because if it was in his brain, it was coming out of his mouth, like calling actresses sevens, and
he was a regular guy.
But he just said that their politics didn't line up, and like that was before the pandemic and the George Floyd thing. But I think he really went hard left in all of that. But that episode with David Letterman, for 97% of it was old Howard. He was making fun of his parents, making fun of growing up in Roosevelt and getting the shit kicked out of him by black people all the time. And got to be honest with you, he sounded a little racist. Because he was like, these black people move in and they're beating the shit out of me, and I don't know, he just sounded. And I think he said the N-word a bunch of times. That's what's funny is they went after Joe Rogan really hard, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't watch. He had Obama on it also, so
fuck that.
I'm not going to go much further than that.
But. I went to one of my college professors was David Letterman's roommate in college.
Really?
At Ball
State?
Yep. Sure
Ball
was.
State University.
I can't remember that guy's name. He was really cool. Went to Alaska, went hunting, and he let me have all my professors did, but I give a good story anyways. He let me go leave for a week. He said, if I was 21 years old and I had a chance to go to Alaska hunting, he said, I'd be all over it.
I'd go too. But it's just he talked about the hard work that it took to get him there. And
yeah,
so did David Letterman. And
it's what everybody that's successful. Oprah Winfrey, same way. You put in some time. I almost hit your credit card for $27.95 last night.
Mine?
Yep. Peacock's in your name at my house.
Oh.
And I was going to buy a movie.
How do you buy movies on Peacock?
Downton Abbey's got a new. Me and Mom were going to watch it last night, and I was like, I don't think we have Peacock. I said, oh, it's in Andy's name. I said, I'm going to buy it. I was looking for it, and she said, are you going to use Andy's credit card? I said, Michelle, he has been Democrat and Netflix off of us for a year. Yes, I'm going to if it's there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't find it. But I wanted to stream the movie because I want to watch it.
I think it's only in theaters right now.
I couldn't find it nowhere. But I was like, somebody said it's on
Julie
Peacock.
went to watch it.
Did she like it?
She didn't say. She just said she went to Abilene, watched it.
By herself?
Uh-huh.
That's miserable.
Nobody else wanted to watch Downton Abbey.
I love it. It's a great show. It's one of my favorite shows. It's probably a top 10 series I've watched on deal. The Wire, I'm absolutely loving. Well, I don't know how I've never watched it before. What a great series. That, Rescue Me, and The Sopranos are three of my favorite series that I've ever been on.
Are you going to go back and watch Oz?
No.
You didn't like it?
I watched it before. Nah, I got too much homo shit on it. I didn't care about all that crap.
Oh.
He'd lose me with all the gay stuff. Even Orange is the New Black.
You go hardcore gay
yeah, I just don't.
Hardcore that way. A little bit's not bad, but a whole bunch. And
I just don't want to see that shit all the time. I don't understand. We talked about this the other day, why everything has to be gay or trans all the damn time. I mean, I don't care if you're gay or not, but don't shove the shit down my throat all the time. I don't want to see that every day. That's all you see all the time. And I get sick of it with shows, especially anything new. The old shows, not so much. I miss living in a non-politically correct world.
It was much funner.
It was a whole lot more fun. People could make fun of people. People made fun of each other, made fun of themselves. Nobody got their feelings hurt. And we need more of that in the world because that's the way real life is. You want to see real life, go to a black barber shop. It's the greatest place in the world. Everybody's funny. Everybody laughs. They make fun of people. Nobody gets their feelings hurt.
I'm going to watch. The new Peaky Blinders comes out next weekend.
I cannot get into that show, and I need to because I did that with Hell on Wheels. Is it Hell on Wheels?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But the first time I watched it, I couldn't get into it. So I'm going to go back and give Peaky Blinders a time. I've got to start reading more and get off the damn TV. I've been watching way too much TV and need to start reading more.
I agree.
And that would help me. I took a big-ass book to Puerto Rico. I didn't even open it up.
Mm-hmm. Been there.
I mean, I didn't even think about reading a book while we were gone.
Didn't have time.
Nope, we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a Puerto Rico episode. We got a lot of funny stories to tell. If you check out Andy's Instagram and my Instagram and Facebook, Reese boy took a tumble down a waterfall, and I just happened to be filming. I was filming all of them going down it, and I caught it all. It's there, and we're going to tell that story, and you need to watch it. It's funny. It's funny shit.
Yep. All right. Clay Reed.
Reed.
So be tuning in Thursday at 6 or 7.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Central Time.
Live on our YouTube channel. I really pray that this goes well. I got to do homework on how to do all this, but I'm hoping it goes well.
And
if this goes well, we'll be able to...
we'll be doing more live stuff.
We can interact with y'all. Y'all can ask questions. I can ask Clay questions, and...
we can go from there,
But it's so hard for me because I try to be part of the conversation. It's hard to listen to y'all, figure out what I'm going to say, and read. So we'll just see how this goes. We might designate a segment to questions with Clay.
And July 14th is the world premiere.
Now, hold on a second.
Okay.
July 14th is a Friday.
No, it's a Thursday. It's the night before we go to Dive Bomb. The Squad Fest starts on the 15th.
Okay.
We're releasing the YouTube series world premiere of The First Family of Waterfowl.
Or would you rather release it on a Tuesday? I'll look at the. We'll figure this out. It'll either be out the 14th or the 19th. One or the other.
I would rather do it before we go to podcast. Or do Squad Fest. The first episode.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Is there a problem with that?
I'll just look.
Okay, I think we're going to have all of them here in 2 weeks. For me and you to look through all of them. Okay, everything.
That's a lot.
And we've already got everything lined up for season 2.
Excellent.
With a bigger budget.
Big budget. Spare no expense. Well,
I wouldn't go that far.
Katie bar the door.
But we're going to have a bigger budget on it.
I want GoPros set up in my bedroom. Everywhere, Jeff. Capture it all. Follow me into the shitter.
Shitter cam would really be pretty cool.
The shitter cam. Figure out who spends the most time in there. I tell you what, nothing throws off my morning more than me needing to go to the bathroom at 4:47 and my bathroom door being locked.
Up here at the lodge?
I go in that far one by the window. That's where I go.
Don't have El Fungo.
It's where I go. And
somebody be in there?
Yeah. The worst is like, you got a room? Don't go to your room.
You don't want to stink up the room.
You're leaving.
I know. All right. God bless y'all. Have a great week. See y'all Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time with Coyote Man Clay Reed. You can talk to him about his practice wife.
I'd probably not. Check out our great sponsors. Go check out Bangtail Whiskey, Dirty Duck Coffee. Hey, listen, get some cigars from Dirty Duck. Ducks Unlimited. Get some cigars from Ducks Unlimited. Had it last night with my Bangtail Whiskey Sour. It's fantastic. Stanford Hunting Outfitters, Gun Dog Outdoors, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Lucky Duck, Dirty Duck Coffee, Shin Gear Waders, Pacific Calls, Boss Shot Shell, Dive Bomb Industries, and Alpha Outdoor Specialties.